It's very interesting to work, and it's kind of a very adventurous life you'll live when you're working with the wildlife. So, if wildlife is your passion, there's no doubt about it that you'll enjoy working as a wildlife veterinarian. But if I talk about the salary and the promotion avenues, they are not very promising in the government job at present.
Hello and welcome to Vets Diary. Today on the Vets Diary podcast, I'm again on with a very special guest. And today we have Dr. Aditi Sharma, a wildlife expert currently working with Uttarakhand Department. And we are very humbled that she agreed to join us on our YouTube channel. And today she will educate us about many aspects of wildlife veterinarian, how to become a wildlife veterinarian, what is the salary, the scope, and the perks, allowances of a wildlife vet in India. So now let's start this session. So I welcome you on Vets Diary channel and thank you for accepting our invitation, ma'am. So, ma'am, initially I want to please give a brief introduction about yourself, that from where you have done your undergraduation and from where you have done your post graduation, and how
Yeah.
you became a wildlife vet.
So, thank you so much, Prashansa. It's a pleasure to be at this and thanks for giving me this opportunity to interact with the younger professionals or the upcoming professionals in our fraternity. I share my journey with all of you. So, my journey in veterinary sciences started in 1996 when I joined my graduation from College of Veterinary Sciences, Pantnagar, Govind Ballabh Pant University of Agriculture and Technology. It's in state of Uttarakhand in northern part of India. So because since my childhood I was fond of animals and I kept on caring for the stray dogs and other animals, so I decided that I'll become a veterinarian. So it was my, you can say that, dream profession. So after doing my completing my graduation in 2001, I got admitted for my masters in the same college, and I completed my masters in veterinary surgery and radiology in 2004. While I was completing my masters, I was selected for the veterinary officer job from Public Service Commission of Uttarakhand in 2003 itself. So I just joined the job and then I submitted my thesis later. I wanted to work in the field. That's why I selected surgery and radiology as my specialization. Then I was working for around, say, from 2003 to 2014 in the animal husbandry department of Uttarakhand government. But then, to be very frank, like I felt this somewhere something is missing. I'm not enjoying it too much. Assistant conservation of forest, and he often bringing like snake or something python, sometime deer, all these wild animals for postmortem. Our BVSC curriculum somewhere it lacks the knowledge about wild animals. It's not up to the mark because you also know that you are doing the
Yes, ma'am.
veterinary course, so you know very well that the curriculum does not teach us much about the wild animal species. Even we don't know how many species are there in India and about their anatomy, their physiology, and everything. So sometimes it's become very difficult because you can, if you cannot recognize what species it is, then how will you do the postmortem? So it's very difficult. At that time, you feel bad. I know that we as a veterinarian we are expected to know each and everything. It's a different from the medical field, like they are always there for specialization, but from us veterinarians, jack of all and masters of none. Even if we do go for the specialization, then also in the field are expected to know each and every discipline, and you have to work for each and every stream of veterinary sciences. So fortunately I got an opportunity to attend a wildlife workshop in Wildlife Institute of India. It was in 2014. I was really impressed by whatever they taught us, and then I decided that I'll not continue in domestic and I have to learn about the wild animals also, because in this field there's a lot more to explore, and nothing much is known on veterinary aspect. The wildlife biologists are doing very good. So I asked about the courses which we can do as a veterinarian. So one option was that either you can go for the masters in wildlife sciences, but another option appropriate for me because I was already in job was PG diploma in advanced wildlife management. It's a 10 months course in Wildlife Institute of India itself. Course I got selected fortunately, and then I completed that PG diploma. After that, I joined Forest Department on deputation because there are no proper posts. There's no cadre of veterinarians in Forest Department. So if you want to work for the wildlife, you can go on deputation for a particular period of time. I joined Rajaji Tiger Reserve in the Forest Department on deputation in August 2015. So this was the start of my journey in wildlife science. Then I attended a number of courses. Like I kept on trying to develop skills, learn more and more about the wild animals, and it was really interesting. Now I can say that yes, I know a little bit about the wild animals, but still there are a number of things that the coming veterinarians, if they're interested to work in wildlife, can explore. So that's it. This is my journey.
It was very nice hearing you, ma'am, because really means a lot that how a vet can become a wildlife vet because many of us
Yeah.
still don't know the path. So, ma'am, you elaborated quite well that what was your journey to become a wildlife veterinarian. So now I would like to ask that what is the scope of a wildlife veterinarian in India?
Currently, what we are seeing, I cannot say that it's a very promising field, but there is we veterinarians are still struggling, and the main reason is that because there are no proper post or cadre of veterinarians in the forest department. Only one or two states, I think, out of which Karnataka is one of the states, they have cadre for veterinarians and the promotion avenues. Commonly, the arrangement is that the veterinarians from the animal husbandry department, they go on deputation in the forest department and they work for a particular tenure. If I go rules, then deputation says that you cannot work for more than 5 years, 3 years, and then you can get extension of 2 years. But yeah, that if the forest department says that no, we need the services of the veterinarian and we don't want to relieve the particular veterinarian, and the animal husbandry department also agrees to it, so you can serve for a longer duration, but as per the rule you cannot serve for more than 5 years in the on deputation. The forest department, they recruit the veterinarians on contract. So it's not very promising because on contract, when you work as a wildlife veterinarian, you don't get a very good salary. Whatever is truth, that I'll tell you that only to know what all is going on presently in India. If you are on deputation, then of course you will get the same salary as you get in the animal husbandry department, whatever the government salary structure is. But if you are working on contract, then it's not a very good salary. You have that risk, that anytime you can be told to exit from the job. So this is the thing. Other fields are, some wildlife veterinarians, they work with the non-government organization. Like there is WWF, then there is WTI, like WCS is there, Wildlife Conservation, Wildlife Trust of India, World Wide Fund, and Wildlife SOS. So some veterinarians, they work with non-government organizations. Some people, they do prefer working with the NGOs and in the corporate sectors, but there is no security of your job. It's more about your satisfaction, it's more about your passion, and it's not that much about the salary and the security of your job. You like to work with wild animals, then all those things be secondary for you. Primary would be working with the wild animals. One more option is that you can work as a faculty in the veterinary colleges where there is MVSC or PhD in wildlife sciences, like Veterinary College of Jabalpur or Veterinary College of Chennai. So all these options you have, but your future is not very secured. But yes, of course, if you don't have any experience with the wildlife, you will find it difficult to work. So it's better that first you either go for a short course or some training or masters in wildlife sciences, then only you should join the job as a wildlife veterinarian.
Which offer PG in wildlife sciences, or ma'am, what are the diplomas which we can do for the same?
So for diplomas, IVRI Isaac Nagar, they have a diploma. Kerala also, Tamil Nadu also, they have diploma in wildlife sciences. Then in Wildlife Institute of India, they have that 10 months of diploma. Their diploma is actually basically designed for forest officers, and it's more of forest management. They have 16 modules, and out of 16 modules which are related with the veterinary interventions in wildlife, and others are related with the different aspects of forest management. But I'll not say that it's not helpful. If you are working as a wildlife veterinarian, of course you are working in the forest area. If you know about the habitat in which the wild animals live and the impact of the habitat, it helps. Not that you only have to learn about the veterinary interventions and the veterinary techniques and the veterinary methods of the veterinary medicine, surgery, and all for the wildlife practice. You also need to know about their relation with the forest. If you have done your masters in wildlife sciences, then also you can go for that PG diploma of 10 months. That will make you a better candidate for working with the wildlife. And for veterinary colleges in Chennai, they have this masters, and then in Jabalpur also.
Masters are of the same duration as we do a normal MVSC.
Yeah, its duration is the same. Even the fee structure is same.
And ma'am,
Yes.
how can we apply in forest?
Okay, so if you want to learn wildlife veterinary, that is a different thing. And if you want to work as a wildlife veterinarian, that is some other thing. Because, if you want to work in foreign, you have to pass some of their mandatory exams for practicing in any foreign country. You have to be registered in their council. But for short courses, it's not a problem. 2 to 3 months or 6 months, then there is no such compulsion. But yes, sometimes so you have to clear that English language exam. Like there is one course which you can attend in India itself. It's field course on interventions in wild animal health, and it is jointly organized by Zoological Society of India, University of Edinburgh, and Wildlife Institute of India. And the study site, the course is organized at Sariska Tiger Reserve. And I think the fees is somewhere around 1.5 to 2 lakhs. If you want to go out of India, the courses which I have done, I can tell you about those. There is one course that the Mali Langue Trust organizes. It's the Mali Langue course on chemical and physical restraint of African wildlife, and it's organized in Zimbabwe. This is a very good course because all the instructors who teach us in that course, they are really experts of wildlife sciences. It's a very good hands-on training. They let you do the things by yourself also, because in other countries, like in African countries, it's not that only veterinarians work for wildlife. Even the non-veterinarians can also work. They also get the license, but either it's a vet or a non-vet, they have to clear this course and get the license. Then University of Pretoria, they have some courses in South Africa. Like there's one advanced course in wildlife chemical immobilization and field practice. It's organized by University of Pretoria in South Africa, and they organize this course in Kruger National Park. Then another course is also in South Africa, but yes, they keep on changing the venue. They organize this course in different countries every year, and it's Advanced Wildlife Chemical Immobilization and Field Practice, and it's organized by Savern Pharmaceuticals. Then you can go for species specific courses also. Like I attended because I was particularly interested for working with the elephants. So I attended this course of elephant health, reproduction, and breeding management course organized by RBC, and it's organized in Thailand. Then there are a lot many online. Yes, they are not hands on, but of course you'll learn a lot of knowledge about the behavior, the ecology, about tranquilizing, about the process of tranquilizing, about the working like mode of action of the tranquilizing drugs. Either you can go on the search on the sites of the different veterinary colleges in abroad, or you can search on different education websites. Like there is one Coursera website, then EDEX is there, then Future Learn is there, broad field. It depends on you in which specialization you are interested. You want to work on immobilization, like wildlife capture. You want to work on the behavior aspect, you want to work on the breeding aspect, you want to work on the species recovery, or you want to work for wildlife conservation, or a number of specialities are there. So even like if you can select on which species you want to work. I'll tell you, there is one Dr. Neha. She's a wildlife veterinarian in India. So she has now done, and she has done a course in marine species. So it's up to you in which species you are interested. You are species with the big mammals or the small mammals, or you are interested to work with the amphibians, or you are interested to work with the reptiles. So accordingly, you have to select the courses.
Which is your favorite
Yes.
animal, which you have selected?
Undoubtedly
Elephant.
elephants.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I would like to tell my viewers that I got to meet ma'am on an elephant workshop which our college has organized, and I'm very thankful to my college because through that workshop only I got to know ma'am. And ma'am, literally that workshop was very, very educative because at present we are seeing that elephants are dying a lot in India. Every year, almost
Yeah.
greater than
Yeah.
300 elephants die in India only. So it is a big question
Yeah.
of concern that how can we conserve elephants.
Yes, of
It's very
course.
good that you are working on this area only. So, ma'am, please tell us any interesting story about wildlife animals you have worked with.
So it was one incident when I got a call for a leopard rescue, and this leopard was there since last 48 hours in the animal shelter in a hilly area. Places we call it Duchhatti. It's not a proper room, but yes, it's a space. So to approach that particular leopard in the, we didn't get any window or anything, so we can target on that leopard. So we have to just get down in that space over the animal shelter. And I was not knowing that they use mud and all these things to build the house. And because the roof was not very high, that leopard, it started hitting the roof of that space shelter, and all the mud and everything started just dropping down. So I was in such a situation that either I instantly tranquilize that leopard within 8 to 10 minutes, or else I'll just fall in front of the leopard. If he'll hit for 2 or 3 more times on the roof, I'll just fall in front of the leopard. So fortunately, I didn't miss the dart, and then we could tranquilize that, immobilize that leopard. Minimum it takes 15 minutes if we are using xylazine, because the induction period for xylazine is at least 15 minutes. If you have meditomidine, you are using meditomidine, then it can be as short as 8 minutes. So within 15 minutes, we could tranquilize. The effect was there. It was completely tranquilized, and our lives could be saved. But it was really, when I thought about it later on, then at that time, because I was not feeling anything else, it was only my target which I was focusing upon. But later on, I thought could have happened.
Yeah.
So you keep on facing such situations. Yeah.
But it's good, yeah, because we generally see domestic animals every day. Experiencing
Yes.
life with wildlife animals is really a very nice experience. So, ma'am, I want you to tell some interesting facts about elephants because you love them. Basically, you have worked with them. Incidents you have with elephants which are memorable for you.
Yeah, I have a lot of incidences with elephants. Where I worked in Rajaji Tiger Reserve, we had the captive elephant camp of our own. It was it was not that captivity was a common practice. Some accident happens, or some orphan elephant calf is there, then they are brought into that elephant camp and taken care of. So we had 4 elephant calves over there, and all the 4 were orphan calves rescued at different times and from different places, and we were hand rearing them. And the minimum age of the elephant calf which we rescued was 15 days only. So when I started working for the wild, when I started knowing about different things, different facts, so I got to know that at birth weight of elephant calf is somewhere around 90 kg. So I could not imagine that some baby or some calf can have such weight, 90 or 100 kgs of weight. So to say it was a 15 days old, but it was somewhere around
100
110
kgs,
kgs.
yeah.
But they're really lovely animals, and they have a very good memory, and they can sense your intention, and they are also friendly also. If they sense that you are doing for their whatever you are doing is for their good, so they cooperate. Any veterinarian should not approach any elephant in absence of Mahabhat, even if you are very friendly with those captive elephants. I have faced such situation. I was treating one of the elephants in our camp, full adult, grown elephant. It was a male elephant. He is and was suffering from arthritis. He was not able to walk properly. It has knocked knees. So I was treating. It was just like prolonging the life, because he was in such a situation that there was not a permanent cure for his disease. Though there is a provision of euthanasia, but the animal rights people and even the forest officers, they are not in favor of doing that, because you face a lot of opposition. They don't understand that if you cannot treat any animal, so it's not good to prolong the suffering. It's better to let him or her sleep properly, go for an euthanasia. But because I could not get the permission for that, so I kept on giving the painkillers and the supplements and all. So I treated him for at least 1 year, and almost alternate day I was going and giving the injections and medicine and all. So I was very pretty confident. So that day also I went. I was used to it. I went very near and I did the medication. I gave the injection and all. And then at last I just starting caressing him with my hand. And that day Mahavat was not there. He was not reacting at first. He doesn't react. He didn't do anything. But then suddenly, when I went near to his face and I was touching the face and the cheek muscles and all, he gave me a very with his trunk. And fortunately, I was not badly injured. But yes, of course, I was just thrown away 30 to 40
Oh
meters.
my God.
I went. It was fortunate that we didn't have that cemented floor. It was all mud only. So I was not hurt. I got it very nicely. Then I felt a little bad also, because I thought
Yeah,
I'm doing for his good only.
yeah,
I'm giving painkillers. I'm thinking so much for him, and he is not able to understand. And because he was weak, otherwise I would have got injured very badly,
yeah,
or might be it could have been fatal also, because he could have just grasped me in the trunk
yeah,
and then they just hit with their legs. No, this is the way they kill the people.
yeah,
But he just threw me away, and I got a very nice lesson of my life. That's why I shared that please don't do this.
yeah.
But otherwise, elephants are very nice and they have very good memory. They can remember you for years together, and you know about that person who cared about the elephant. So from a very long distance they came and visited him when he died. Yeah, it's not an incident from India, it's from some other country.
Elephants are very interesting. I also like elephants, but yes, the thing you said that we have to be precautious because in
Yes.
clinics only, ma'am, in our UG program only, sir teaches us that before handling any canine, you have to put a face mask on his face. You have to tie his mouth,
Yeah, yeah,
and it
yeah, of
is a
course.
very careful precaution that we have to follow it. Every owner comes and they say
Yeah,
that my dog is very sweet, he doesn't bite, but
yeah,
we are
yeah, of
like we
course.
have to be precautious because we don't know that when they can, because they are animals, when their mood is different.
Yeah, you cannot
Yeah,
predict the behavior.
we cannot
And
predict
that
behavior.
too for wild animals, they have a wild instinct inside them. So you cannot predict.
Okay, ma'am. So earlier you said that the courses which are available in foreign, they are very costly. So what are the
Yes.
scholarships which we can avail?
There are a number of scholarships. Like currently, I'm doing one online masters, distance learning. They have both the options on site and online. It's masters in One Health from University of Edinburgh. So I apply. They have the fees somewhere around 15 lakhs, the whole course. So of course, no one can afford this easily. So I'm getting that. I applied for that Commonwealth scholarship. Fortunately, I got that. So there are a number of scholarship which you can apply for. Even for attending short courses, even for attending conferences, are a number of scholarships you can apply for, or you can apply for some sponsorships. Non-government organizations like WWF, like WTI, they also can sponsor you for some short course, or if you want to attend some symposium or conference. And also there is one travel aid or financial aid in whatever symposium or conference you are applying, or the short course you are applying. You can ask them itself that, so you can write to them that we are just students, we are not earning anything, and it's difficult for us, so if we can get any kind of financial aid or travel aid or some kind of discount. So they also sometimes give the discount or exemption from the fees. And otherwise, for there are some scholarship for, especially for women scientists. So you have to do a little homework. I cannot just give you the list of the organizations, but you have to do your own homework. Then there is DST, there is DBT, and then these non-government organization, then Commonwealth scholarship. You can just search like scholarship for students, scholarship for Indian students, scholarship for women students, scholarship for working women, scholarship for developing candidates from developing countries. These kind of searches you have to do. Once I was sponsored by the WWF, and once I got sponsorship from WTS also, and then now I'm getting this Commonwealth scholarship. But sometimes you have to, if you can, then you have to bear it yourself also. I mean, it's not a bad deal. You'll not be at loss. As per my opinion, we like spend a lot of money on our clothes. We spend a lot of money in different restaurants and all. So it's better that we spend our money on such learning programs. This is what I think.
That what are the perks we get in India if we have done any course from foreign? Suppose if we have done all these diplomas or all these
Yeah.
courses, then what are the benefits which we'll get while working in India only?
I'll tell you the truth only. I'll not say that you start dreaming a very nice picture. So you actually, if I talk particularly about the government job, then they just need the candidate to be BVSC. They don't need any specialization, they don't need any diplomas, any courses, nothing. And they don't have any impact or role in your promotions. You know that the promotion is time bound in government job. If you are working with the government, then you'll be given your promotions and your salary irrespective of your other qualification. And if you go on deputation in forest department, then it's a very nominal deputation allowance which you get, and that too now is discontinued. Exactly, to be very frank, there is not much role of all these things in terms of your financial or monetary gains in government jobs. But yes, of course, it's a total gain for you yourself, because you are better person, you know a lot of things, you are a much more skilled person. So when you will work in the field, this difference, everyone can see the difference, and you will be performing very well, and in comparison to others you will be preferred. In non-government organizations, yes, it makes a difference, because they compare the candidates, and of course they'll give a much higher salary to the person who is much more qualified, who has more experience, who has done more courses, diplomas and all. If you are applying for any course, for any degree course, for any short course, for any training, for any internship, for any externship, then these things do matter.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
they do help, they do matter, because they'll see your CV, how much of experience you have, what knowledge you have, in what fields you have the knowledge, how much diversity in your knowledge you have, how practical you are, and how much hands-on knowledge you have, how much work you have done in the field. All these things, like this when I applied for this course for masters from University of Edinburgh, they see for even for first, for getting the scholarship, you have to fill, it's a very long form, and you have to answer some questions, and it in all these things it matters. Or in some NGOs also in India also, if you're applying, they have that standard that they need recommendation from two or three people, at least two, minimum is two. So I'll not say that all these things matter directly in your monetary gain, but indirectly they do matter, except for the government job.
Okay.
Your personality is developed, your vision is broadened, you can talk confidently on different platforms, you can interact all over the world very confidently because you have the knowledge. So in this way, it makes a lot of
Okay, ma'am. So,
difference.
ma'am, the last question for today is that what are the other scopes for a veterinarian who is working in wildlife other
Yeah.
than treating animals?
Wildlife sciences is also a very broad field, and the treatment is not the only choice you have. You are a doctor, you are a veterinarian, so treatment is always a part of your profession, of course, whether you want it or not. You have other options also. Work on the behavior aspect of the animal, species recovery programs. If any species is endangered, they go for the breeding, environment, impact of environment on the wildlife health, and the most trending one presently is the field of One Health, very important right now. It talks about the connection between the human health, animal health, and the environmental health. So the in this One Health concept, the veterinarians have a very important role to play, because of the zoonotic, most of the diseases which are causing pandemics are zoonotic disease. So there is very important role, so you can work for that as well. You can work for wildlife conservation, you can work on human wildlife conflict, you can develop your skills for wildlife capture, you can work for wildlife translocation, disease surveillance programs, developing vaccines. And in wildlife, as I said, there is a lot of things to explore still. Even we don't know much about the anatomy, the physiology of the wild animals. So you can start working on uh, studying a particular species, and then recording the facts about the anatomy and all these details. Because when I went for the elephant course in Thailand, they had a proper whole skeleton of elephant. But in India, I think at only one place we have such skeleton. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us to know what is the orientation of the bones, how the bones are placed inside the elephant. And when we have some situations, like if we have to go for some kind of operation, then we don't know what is the difference in the, like, bones of elephants are different from the other animals. They are spongy bones, they don't have a that bone marrow space. This is the difference. So all these kind of different bit in different species we don't know, so there are a lot of fields to explore. if we talk about the elephant, we don't have the supplement feed. We don't, if we want to rear the orphan calf of an elephant, we don't have that milk replacement for that. So even in our case, we had to use the human one. So someone with having the interest in nutrition, they can work on this aspect also, the supplement feeds for different species. But for that, they should know what is their normal feed, what do they prefer to eat in the forest. Then only you can go for making a supplement.
So means, ma'am,
Yeah.
yes, if we are really interested in wildlife, then anything cannot stop us from doing that, in spite of
Yeah,
all
of
the
course.
odds. And you are the biggest example. You are at present doing this work, and you are doing it good.
Said no, it's about the passion. So it's my passion. I
Yeah.
don't look for the monetary gains, but I must tell you that I have gained a lot while working with the wild animals on the vision side, in my personality, in my knowledge level, in my skill level, and even like interaction with other veterinarians all over the world. It's really interesting and very promising in spite of all these
Odds.
drawbacks, yeah, and loopholes which we have, but it's good. And of course, it will improve with time, and only we are the people who can improve all these
Yes, ma'am.
things.
Definitely, as the time will
Yeah,
pass, India will also be a better place for veterinarians to come.
of course.
So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your precious time and for giving us so precious knowledge, because many of us students are still unaware about what a wildlife veterinarian is, what is the scope of it in
Yeah.
India, what are the allowances. And today you discussed about all in a very detailed and very nice and explanative manner. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Because I as a senior who is working and I've faced all these things I've gone through. So it's my duty also to disseminate this message, to tell you the truths, even the like the good and the bads of the field,
Yes,
because it's for my fraternity only. They should know what situations they can
yes,
face.
ma'am. The best part was this only, that you told the truth, both sides, that what is the good and what is the bad of opting this as a career. So that was the best
Yeah,
part of today's discussion. Thank you so
it
much,
was my
ma'am.
pleasure.
And I hope,
Thanks to you actually to bring me on this platform.
ma'am,
My all best wishes to you and all other
yes,
young
ma'am,
professionals of our
definitely, ma'am,
fraternity.
whoever will watch this video, they'll be very enlightened. They'll get to know more about the veterinary profession and about the wildlife
Yeah.
veterinarian.
And just at the last, I also want to tell you that if you people want to know more, then there are WhatsApp groups. One group which I have made is for women wildlife veterinarians. Almost all the wildlife veterinarians in India, they are connected to each other.
That's a very good
So
one.
yeah,
Okay, ma'am. So I'd like you to please share the group's link so that I'll give it in the description box below so that the viewers can, if they want to join, they can join it. And they can,
yeah.
especially the students, they'll get benefited by it.
Oh,
One last request, ma'am. Please say like, share, and subscribe to Vet's Diary channel.
okay, that would be my pleasure to say because you're doing such a good work. So, of course, I wish that it should be promoted, and I request all of you to please like, share, and subscribe to Prashansa's channel. This is a very good effort. So, please go for it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It really means a lot.